Robert Rapp, a frightful pirate coming from a small town in Sweden to wreak havoc on the greatest powers of the world. Feared for his cruelty by merchantmen and looked upon with respect by all pirates. Every fleet out there is looking to have him hanged. Times are good to be a pirate. Times are good for privateers. Welcome to Privateers, a board game project from Myling Games. The game takes place in the Caribbean during the golden age of piracy. 4 powers fight for the influence over the area, and you as a player takes a role of a captain, a privateer, for one of these powers. They are Spain, the Dutch Republic, France, and Great Britain. The game board is created using hexagonal map tiles, and this modular approach will make each new game different. The board will be filled with colonies, merchant ships, game-driven pirates, fleets from one or more of the fighting nations, and possibly ghost ships, sea monsters, or ancient gods. Each hexagonal map tile is divided in 3 areas, or spaces. These can be either ocean spaces or island spaces. The numbers at each edge helps decide where game-driven ships move in some situations. A ship can move up to its sail spaces every movement phase, and a player moving over the game board edge simply draws a new map tile. Island spaces can be used to hide loot if the ship's hull is full and a friendly colony is too far away. The captain has a combat value that is used mostly in duels against other captains. A cunning value used in a lot of situations where a good brain or a fast mouth could give an advantage. And a health value. Each captain also have a couple of abilities, and usually a drawback of some kind. This particular captain, Robert Rapp, has a bad reputation for cruelty, which could save him from a boarding engagement. And other game-driven pirates avoid attacking him. On the other hand, he is hunted by all enemy fleets. Each captain sheet has a male and a female version on it, one on each side. You, as a player, just have to choose. Your captain will have a ship at the start of the game. During the game, you will be able to take over enemy ships or buy a better one, but you could also lose your ship. Ships have a sales value, determining how far it can move each movement phase. A hull value, which decides how many crew cards it can take, how much loot it can hold, and also how much punishment it can take before it sinks. The last one is the cannon value, how much of a punch it can give in a battle engagement. Most ship types have one or more abilities, given in the description and also in eventual symbols at the top right of the card. The value in the coin in the top left of the card is the cost of the ship. These cards from left to right are crew cards that are the sailors manning your ship. These could be ordinary seamen, a ship's doctor, or even ghost sailors. Relic cards are really hard to get your hands on, but gives your captain or your ship some very special advantages. Loot cards are cargo and other plunder that you can take from merchant ships or enemy colonies, for example. The asset cards can be bought in friendly colonies or be made from loot cards, and are equipment for your captain or your ship, like a pistol for your captain, or heavier cannon, or some oars for your ship. Battle between ships are handled by battle cards. There are 2 descriptions on each card of how the battle is developing. 1, if in a battle engagement where cannons are involved, and 1 if there are a boarding going on. A boarding fight may also lead to a duel between captains. The ship markers for game-driven ships have 2 sides. The front have values for sails, hull, number of crew and cannons, as well as a ship type. The back have values for the ship's captain, namely fight, health, cunning, as well as the number of loot you can get from the ship when you defeat it. There can also be special rules or abilities tied to the ship, written at the bottom of the ship marker. Event cards are drawn by each player after movement phase and battle phase. Each card normally describes an event influencing the player drawing the card. This is often something potentially good, and often involves a test against one of the captain's skills. Some cards are bad news though, like pirate hunting parties going after the captain, or bad weather that will influence all players. After the player's turn, the game will draw an influence card. This usually means a bad thing for the players in one way or another, like patrolling enemy fleet markers, or that zombies just ate all of the inhabitants of a colony. The influence board is used to keep score. Influence is tracked using 2 tokens, plus and minus, per nation. The plus token starts on 1 and moves towards maximum influence, and the minus token starts on max and moves towards 0. A nation gains trophies when defeating an enemy ship or colony, and the nation with the largest amount of trophies at the influence phase gain 1 plus token, and the one with the smallest amount of trophies lose 1 minus token. Player nations with a minus token on 0 influence lose, but continues to play until every player nation has lost. Game-controlled nations with 0 influence are defeated and immediately play their defeat card and secrets. A defeated nation is removed from the game when its defeat card is discarded. In most cases, it can only be discarded by defeating a boss marker in a showdown. A boss can be anything from the avatar of an Aztec storm goddess to a very large and heavily armed ship. The rulebook is in color. It contains a lot of informative graphics to help you as a player. You can have a look at it here on the Kickstarter site as a PDF. The core set box will contain around 500 cards and 370 markers, and include English rules, modular game board, scoreboard, dice, and a few minis. This amount of components may grow, and the quality of the product may increase when certain stretch goals are unlocked. The 2 Kickstarter-specific boosters are delivered in separate playing card tuck boxes. The Treasure's special booster pack is delivered for free to everyone getting the core set. The Buccaneers booster can be acquired getting the Buccaneer pledge level or higher. And finally, some artwork included in the game. They are all painted by Tina Engström, who also is the developer of the game.